Okay, checkpoint 5, working with textures. This also, just like the other parts of the other checkpoints, very experimental. You're going to be trying out a lot of different textures and texture combinations. Once you understand the blend modes, you understand a little bit better how to set the textures to the right blend mode. But a lot of it's experimental and building upon textures. You're not just going to use one or two, you're going to use more than quite a few in order to build up an entire thing. So, as it says here, go to your Schoology course, Design and Digital Resources. And what I would do, click into Overlay Textures here, and click into, you're going to want dust and scratches. You're probably going to want to try out paper, light flares, and maybe a few digital. Go in there, get a few you think look pretty cool, download them, open up your Photoshop file, and I have them all here, the ones I downloaded, and these are all on Schoology. So I got some black scratches, some other dust and scratches here, watercolor paper to try out, a digital one, and two photocopy kind of textures, and then a few light leaks that I'm going to try as well. I always start with the dust and scratches as kind of my base textures to work with. So this is our work progress so far. We don't really need anything below this turned on because we created this composite already. So we are going to keep working with our textures right above this. And I'm just going to start dragging and dropping these in here and creating some textures. So this is relatively dark, which means I don't want to set it to a darken blend mode because that's just making the darks even darker. But I'm going to want something like lighten, or screen. And as I set these blend modes, I'm looking more that the actual colors of, my whole image aren't really being distorted. So when I go to screen, I get a little bit more of the white going on in the scratches, but the rest of my picture is becoming lightened as well, and I'm losing some of the vibrancy of the colors that I like. And so I'm going to stick with lighten. I like the way that that looks. And I can kind of move these around a little bit. And I'm just going to go on to the next one and keep dragging and dropping these in here. I think I'm going to turn this one around, zoom out. Again, I don't want to darken this, but I'm going to want to set this to screen or lighten. Definitely screen. Okay, let's keep going from here. Let's throw some scratches on. Okay, so this one has a lot of white in it, so I'm actually going to want to darken. But when I set it to darken, anything that's white becomes fully transparent, and black becomes a little bit darker and stays within the picture. So I like multiply mode here, but I like what's going up here on top, but I'm not a fan of everything that's going on down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a duplicate of this real quick. I'm going to hide that one for now. And on this bottom one, create a mask. And I'm just going to quickly paint out, put my flow back up, the bottom part of this that I know I kind of don't like. And I'll turn this one back on. I think I'll paint out the top portion of this one real quick because I already have that on the bottom layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, because I want to get rid of some of this black. There's just too much going on down here. In order to get rid of some of it, I'm going to add a curves adjustment layer, right? I'm going to clip it to this. Now this is set to a screen mode or lighten mode, which means blacks become black. Or no, it's set into a multiply, right? Yeah, multiply mode. So blacks are going to be black and the whites are gone. So if I increase, using my curves adjustment here, increase the white within this photo here, this texture here. A lot of these darks are going to start to become whiter, which means they're going to become transparent. So I'm going to just slide this until I have the amount gone. So that's pretty good. I think right about here. All right, so you can see the difference that made just by dragging that slider and getting rid of some. And I think I might also get rid of that right there. Okay, let's keep going. Next, let's throw on a watercolor texture here. So this is white, so I want to set it to a darken or multiply. I kind of like that, but the texture is just pretty big for me. So let me show you oftentimes with these paper textures, I'm going to Command Z. Oh, went away. So let's get that back. And I'm going to put one up here. All right, set this to multiply. Or just darken. Darken has a pretty good effect as well. So I'll set it to darken. Let's do multiply. And I'm gonna just duplicate this same one and just drag it down. And if I just have it meet up right there at the bottom, you can see there's that line. I don't want that. But if I can get it to meet up pretty perfectly, you can't tell. And this way I don't have to make it larger and make that texture even larger. And then I can just hold Shift, click on both of these, throw them in a quick folder, and name this my watercolor paper. And I think I will lighten this up a little bit as well. So another curves, attach it to it, and right about there. And I think I like that. Yeah, let's keep going from here. Let's see. Let's throw on this one next. So it's pretty dark, or it's pretty light, so I think I'll try a darken mode first. No. Maybe overlay. Yeah. Overlay looks pretty good. Let's move it around. Yeah. I think I'm liking that effect. Let's see about what a curves adjustment layer might do to it. Let's increase the darks, see what we get. Okay, so I kind of like that. Let's try an S curve. So pull these darks down a little bit. Yeah, that's looking good. Maybe this down a little bit, right about there. So before, after, increasing some contrast and just some visual interest there. So it's coming along good. Let's see what this one does. First, make sure I'm at the top of my layers here. Toss this one in there. Pretty dark. Not darken, probably an overlay. Let's go with, let's see what overlay does. So it's clearly too much of an effect, but I'm seeing if there's maybe anything I want to keep. Anything I can get rid of. Let's try a curves adjustment layer on it and see what we come up with. Let's okay. Maybe I'll lower this to 50 and see what happens. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. Sometimes you have to zoom out and see how much you like of what's going on with it. This one's a little bit hard to tell how much I like. I'll create a mask because there's parts in here that are slightly annoying me. I'm just gonna paint out the texture down here some. I'm gonna lower my flow, paint a little bit more out, and turn this back off and on. Switch to my white, paint a little bit more back in there. Okay. So I think I like that. Let's keep going. Let's try a digital. So for this one, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to hit enter and see if anything happens at all. These are kind of give and take. You never know. That's kind of cool. What might happen. So I think I liked what's going on here with soft light, but let me remove. All right. Okay. But I want to, I only like it in the lettering and kind of up in there a little bit. And I think I want to decrease the effect of it maybe a little. It's a hard call. Definitely soft light. Let's go down to 70, 60% opacity. I'm gonna add a layer mask to it and go to switch to my black. I definitely only want it in the letters, so I'm just gonna paint it out everywhere else real quick. You always want to do this with a soft brush when you're painting out. Otherwise, those edges will come up and you'll see those really easily. There we go. Maybe keep a little bit up in there. So I kind of like that. Now, this one, you got to be careful. You don't want to do too much. This could be too much. I think I like that one more than this effect. Nope. Okay, so I'll go ahead and delete the digital. I like this one. I think it was adding just a little bit too much. All right, let's go into the light leaks. Throw this one down first. Make it large. And let's see what we get here. Saturation kind of looks like it's doing something cool. I kind of like the gray in parts. So let's add a layer mask to that. paint it out some, keep some of those grays in there. Okay. Let's see what this one does. Just cycle through these, see if anything interesting happens. And this one, yeah, this one's kind of maybe a dud. It kind of pops those colors out. Interesting though. Now let's see. Add a layer mask, maybe paint out this stuff. So it at least increases that right there. It's interesting. Maybe let's duplicate it. No, Command T. And I'll right click on it and flip it to the other side so I can get that same color increase going on over there. And then get my white, paint some of it back in here. Yeah, I think I don't like it. I think I'll delete that. All right. So now I need to make this larger so it fits on there better. All right. So coming to good phases here as far as adding textures, and this is the general process where you're finding new textures, adding on to them. Adding layer masks. Maybe you only liked it in a certain spot and you want to erase some of it. And maybe you liked what it did over here like I did, and then you duplicate it and then right click on it after free transforming and flipping it to the other side. Very experimental until you land on a look that you like.